With the last America First provision on the border gone, America endured its first full weekend of unbridled lawlessness on the border. After the Senate GOP bent the country over to fully fund the Biden regime's betrayal of our people, only the courts stand between us and a complete collapse of our immigration system. Is this the Democrats' endgame? We examine that question in today's preamble. Upon hearing that Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell teamed up to release millions of illegal aliens into America without court dates or a means to track them, a federal judge stepped in and told Joe and Mitch no, at least for now. Judge T. Kent Wetherell imposed a 2-week restraining order on the Biden regime, writing, quote, DHS is enjoined from implementing or enforcing the parole policy contained in the May 10, 2023 memorandum from U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz, titled Policy on Parole with Conditions in Limited Circumstances prior to the issuance of a charging document, Parole with Conditions. This TRO, temporary restraining order, will take effect at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time to correspond with the expiration of the Title 42 order and to give defendants an opportunity to seek an emergency stay from a higher court, end quote. Now, laughingly, the Biden regime, through the contemptible Alejandro Mayorkas and Karine Jean-Pierre, they claimed that by letting illegal aliens go into America with no court dates and no means to track them, they claimed that was essential to solving our illegal immigration problem, saying the court sabotaged their good efforts. Yes, it appears the Biden administration wishes to resolve crime by making crime legal. Mayorkas took his case to the Sunday shows.
This is Judge T. Kent Wetherell took issue with that characterization, and he said, quote, this ignorant and dangerous rhetoric ignores the fact that the evidence presented in this case shows that the chaos that the president acknowledged has been going on at the southern border for a number of years is largely a problem of the defendants, the administration's own making. If it is sabotage for a federal court to tell the federal government it must comply with the law, then so be it. So what do you say to Judge Wetherell?
We respectfully disagree with the judge's interpretation of the law, his characterization of our actions, and we intend to litigate the matter, and I defer to the Department of Justice in that regard.
The Democrat Biden regime is committed to making sure they can break the law with impunity, and they won't allow some judge to get in their way. But the law isn't the only thing getting broken in the Democrats' latest attack on our civilized society.
That the cartel actually is coming after the men, and if you're not paying to get across at any particular location on the river, they're breaking their legs and their arms with sticks and bats. These guys were pretty traumatized as they were telling us this yesterday.
Not only is your government partnering to deliver women and children into slavery into the United States, but they're also enriching narco-terrorists or committing atrocities against illegal aliens. The Democrats' compassion, my friends, on full display. But as America's voice was on the border in El Paso exposing our government's corruption, the biased press was bashing conservatives like Ted Cruz, asking what the conservatives have done to help Joe Biden implement his harmful illegal immigration agenda.
The Republican members that are here today, what have you all done to help Joe Biden in this?
Okay. All right. So that's a ridiculous and silly question. I want to commend you for being the media and telling it Democrat policies. The last year of the Trump presidency, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. You ask, what have I done? I've championed the men and women of Border Patrol. I've championed securing the border. I've championed Remain in Mexico. And we turned this problem around and solved it. And we went from Joe Biden inherited the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. And the first day in office, he made political decisions to cause this problem. And you should be ashamed of yourself because you're a reporter and you're not reporting facts. You're telling lies.
He's a propagandist, actually, not a reporter. The press, the Democrats, the GOP leadership all would like to forget, and they'd like you to forget, too, that despite overwhelming opposition from permanent Washington, President Trump was able to bring down illegal immigration to historic levels through his America First policies, policies that enforced the law. In contrast, Joe Biden has ushered in historic and dangerous illegal immigration through his policies that don't enforce our laws. In short, President Trump proved we don't have to live with illegal immigration. Hence, the biased press suffers from a mass amnesia and wishes to pass that amnesia on to their audiences. But as Joe Biden and his regime sought to normalize lawbreaking to meet their cancerous political goals, they also push to criminalize anyone who opposes them. Here's Joe Biden pushing out the straw man argument that the greatest threat to America is white supremacy.
To stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
Okay, so was it white supremacy when a crazed trans shooter killed 6 Christians in Nashville? Was it white supremacy when a left-wing pronoun-obsessed maniac shut up a bank in Louisville? Was it white supremacy when a crazed Latino gunman shut up a mall in Allen, Texas? Was it white supremacy when Antifa and BLM rampaged through our streets for 2 years, looting, burning, beating, and in some cases killing those who got in their way? But those incidents I just mentioned and countless others aren't the targets of the biased press or the leftist Biden regime. Their target is you or anyone who opposes their lawless and draconian policies.
The president yesterday at his commencement address for the Howard University graduates called white supremacy the major domestic terror threat in this country. Is that correct?
It tragically is. You know, in the terrorism context, domestic violent extremism is our greatest threat right now. Individuals driven to violence because of ideologies of hate, anti-government sentiments, false narratives, personal grievances, and the like. And regrettably, we have seen a rise in white supremacy.
Of course, he provides no stats, no proof of his allegations. But he did mention what qualifies all of you as terrorists if you have personal grievances with your government. Now, where have I heard grievances mentioned? Oh, that's right. It's in the U.S. Constitution. Our first guarantee in the founding document reads, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, end quote. Mayorkas now says that if you demand a redress of grievances, you're a terrorist. Mayorkas stated that he thinks that you're a terrorist if you also speak up against your government. Don't forget that it was the leftists in the Biden regime who called parents terrorists for simply demanding their concerns about GovEd be addressed. They were demanding a redress of grievances, as was their right. But here comes Mayorkas saying that speaking out against the government makes you a terrorist. Our 40th president, Ronald Reagan, spoke of men like Mr. Mayorkas and others in the Biden regime.
I'm a collector of stories that I can establish are told in the Soviet Union among their own people, showing something of their feeling about their situation. And one of these that I heard recently was an argument between an American and a Soviet citizen, and the American had said how he could stand down in the corner and shout right out to everybody his criticism of the government. And the Soviet citizen said, I can do that too. Says the only difference between us is you'll still be free after you've done it.
You see, but that's the old America, before the left seized and implemented unchallenged power, shredding the Constitution while being fully funded by the Surrender Caucus Republican Party. The loss of your right of self-determination, your loss of freedoms to tell your government what to do, your loss of liberty, that's the end game. That's the goal that the worldwide left has cooked up for all of us. If you think your freedoms are worth saving, you better get on the stick, my friends. Stop electing complicit Republicans. Insist on voting reforms. Make sure you fully know and exercise all of your constitutional rights, and pressure your weak politicians to clean up our corrupt and dirty government. Impeaching the trash that is Alejandro Mayorkas and those who think that our rights are crimes, that's a good start.